Hey everybody, welcome back to Tiny Garage Fabrication. As you can see, I got another new project. This time, it's old as dirt. Now let me introduce you to my 1972 Datsun 620 pickup. It's got a few upgrades, a whole lot of downgrades, a little bit of rust, a whole lot of crud, and we're going to be working it out over the next couple episodes. So, let's turn to. Over some of the upgrades, some of the things. 1972, this truck should have had an L16B, a 1.6 liter motor. This right here, it's got a sticker from ATK. I think this was a reman engine, and they put it in. This is actually an L18, so the 1.8 liter that came out in 1974. Slight upgrade. This still has the Hitachi 2-barrel carburetor on it. Everything there seems to be good. We've got a Crane Fireball XR700 ignition, and what that did is that changed this to electronic ignition. So underneath the cap we've got no more points. We've got this little optical sensor right here, and it runs off of a tiny little wheel. So each time this wheel goes around and lets the sensor see what it needs to see, it fires. Pretty cool, decent little upgrade there. Fairly new starter. It has a new master cylinder. It has really crappy old wiring. That's probably going to be my biggest drawback on this thing. You know, there's just a mess. A lot of these boxes look fairly new. It's got a lot to go through. You know, battery cables and a wire for an amp or something maybe. Gonna have to go through and sort all that out. It has the later type grill on it. I wish this had the original one, which had cool little like headlight covers with little eyebrows on them. But no big deal. This lens is looking pretty haggard, and I'm sure those things are super expensive, so I'm probably going to design and 3D print a replacement, not a direct replacement, but probably this shape, maybe have something on it, but probably integrate LEDs or something like that. Stay tuned for that. Okay, the truck has these 15 by 10 wheels. It's a 4-inch backspace, so that makes it like a 15 by 10 -38 roughly, you know, if you understand offsets. Stretch tires, it's got a 195/50/15. Not a big fan of this particular look, so I've got some 15 by 7s, a lot more period correct for a 70s truck I'm going to put on here. I'm going to use these same tires because I'm a cheap ass, and it's a good diameter. I like the diameter of the tire, so I want to make sure that stays. That is a caliper, and you can see remnants of a disc brake rotor in there. So this has a disc brake upgrade. However, it's not the one that I want. This still has the kingpin type suspension, so I'm going to go ahead and swap all of that out. More to come. And moving along to the interior, it has door panels, which is cool. Gives me something to work with. It has a bench seat, which I like, but this one is obviously in absolutely terrible shape. It's got these kind of cool seat belts. It's like a kind of an aircraft style 3-piece whatever, but they're super gross. About the only thing I'm keeping are the 3 metal parts. I'm gonna go ahead and make all new webbing. Stay tuned for that. That'll be a pretty cool project. Oh, it's so gross. All right, it has a Nardi wheel. Might be a knockoff, might be real. I don't know, but it could be in better shape. We'll probably recondition this thing. Other than that, like I said, the wiring is in shambles. Column cover is zip tied on. Luckily, the other half that's over here. This is great. It's got the factory 4-speed. Let's see. Here we go. So that's first gear. That's still first gear. Really, any of these positions could be neutral. Let's see. That might be second. Let's see. I think I'm in second here. I think I'm still in second gear. This thing is just, it's clapped out. That's in second gear, and you really got to kind of, maybe that's fourth, maybe we're in first, or third, I don't know. This thing sucks, so I'm looking for a 5-speed upgrade. Pioneer head unit, that's probably going to go. It's got all the neat features that these like ancient trucks had, to include a old cigarette butt. The glove box actually works. Nice wood paneling, probably keep that. Digging that 70s stuff. The tray's here, heater box is here. This is kind of neat. That's how you turn the fan on. You actually pull that. We've got the eBay JDM super cool mirror here. Gonna go ahead and swap that out. And yes, let's take a look at this. Yeah, we're gonna fix that. Yeah, Spartan. Bare bones, crappy wiring, things are falling apart. I love it. It's exactly my style. The tailgate is the nicest part of the truck. Unfortunately, the tailgate latches are not. We've got more janky wiring. It gets really bad. We've got some on this side. Just some speaker wire running into one of the lights. Super cool. Love it. Sitting on the bump stops. This thing must ride fantastic. Gonna go ahead and fix that too. I see a C-notch in the future. Probably gonna custom make that on the plasma table. Just design something, jam it in. Probably give me an extra inch of axle clearance, put some low profile bump stops in there. Give me about 3 inches of good suspension travel out back. Should be all I need. Got stuff like window channel seals need replaced. The roof is in great shape. The windshield gasket is in terrible shape. Rockers have both some rust and some jank. Fenders, but all that's aesthetic. All that stuff comes later. First thing first, I'm going to sort out the suspension so that it can actually go down the road without bashing my face in, because we are also on the bump stops up front. Okay, so I mentioned the disc brake kit. We've got this kind of square plate right there, some spider webs. Awesome. Square plate that's bolted to where the brake backing plate was. It appears to have a caliper mount on it. I don't know what these rotors came from or what bearings to fit on the spindles, but pretty neat. I did mention this is a kingpin style suspension, so we've got a cross pin that goes across here, a cross pin across here, and then this one right here that allows the spindle to turn. So not like a regular spindle where you would have a ball joint on the bottom and the top, and then the spindle's one piece. Instead, it's several different pieces. And I'm going to get rid of this. Yeah, it's already got disc brakes, so I could probably run this and be good, but you see I'm on the bump stops, so I want to be able to get this thing low and also still be able to ride good, which means I want dropped spindles. So I'm going to upgrade the upper and lower control arms to the ball joint style so that I can run a Nissan hardbody or D21 drop spindle, and that will also allow me to run disc brakes just like the newer Nissan hardbody trucks do. That 2-inch drop will allow me to crank the torsion bars back up, get off the bump stops, put low profile bump stops in, etc., and she'll be riding right. That's one of my first priorities. So that was a pretty super quick run through on the truck. We're sitting on the bump stops. That doesn't mean it won't drive, just means it'll ride like shit. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that. The things that I'm planning are to swap in components from a Nissan 720 or Datsun 720 in 1983 is what I've got my eye on. So it looks like I'm gonna be pulling the entire front suspension components. It's not a direct bolt-on, so there's going to be some cutting and welding. Hopefully we're not gonna hack job this thing. We're switching to the rear end from the 720 as well. I believe it's 2 inches wider overall, and then the front end is also a little bit wider due to the disc brake setup. The 720 lower control arms are about 1.25 inches wider each side than this is. Hook a guy up, like, comment, subscribe. That's the best way to hook it up. Next video, we're going to start tearing apart the front end so that we can get a better look at and start modding on that suspension. Thanks, everybody.